Believe it or not, this is Jason and I's first attempt at ever doing any sort of epoxy work. And I'm actually super proud of how it turned out. Now, this is not without any mistakes along the way, guys. We never did this. So we have learned a lot of lessons. You're gonna see in this video probably what not to do or the mistakes that we made. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty darn proud of what we did.
Came out really beautiful, Dan.
It did, Jay.
All right, Epoxy Day is here. Woo-hoo.
Epoxy Day, Jay. Now, Jay and I have been waiting to do this, but today we're going to actually show you how to take your end grain tiles that we showed you how to cut and make from your scrap material into a custom high-end epoxy counter. A pour-in-place epoxy counter. So, I can promise you that Jay and I have never done this before. So we're going to show you how two timber framers give you a custom epoxy countertop. I mean, what could go wrong, Jay? What could go wrong?
What in the world could go wrong besides everything? What do you got for us, Dan?
What do I got for us? Okay, guys, if you're actually going to do a pour in place like we're going to do, is you actually have to build a frame that's going to hold the epoxy form while you're doing it. Now, Jason and I, you can see we've actually put a lip down in here because honestly, at the end of the wood grain there, we wanted to have wood the entire way, not just to have epoxy. So that's actually going to cover your plywood, which is the stability of your epoxy table here. And what we need to do is we need to make this leak proof. I swear we need to make this leak proof. So you need to buy special epoxy resin tape. A lot of different companies make this. It's for making your molds. And what we're gonna do is every seam, every corner, everything here, especially where we're gonna want the epoxy to come off the edge, use this tape, it will not stick to it. It'll also make it seal any of your gaps here. So because ours is a little more difficult here on the end, we're gonna have to wrap tape more than one time over through this, cover all the seams. So you can see where the sink cutout's gonna be. As soon as we're done with our epoxy pour, sink's just gonna fall right in place. So we're gonna get to taping. This is gonna take quite a bit of time. And I'll show you as we're going through what you gotta do to seal your epoxy counter before you pour. You don't want leaks.
No leaks, not on the hickory floor, Dan.
Well, two timber framers, there's a good chance we're going to be on leak patrol, Jay.
I think we'll be all right.
I think so, too.
Tape slowly.
Tape slowly. Okay, so we've actually taken our frame that we have made and we've gotten everything taped. I mean, it is imperative that you get any seam, any crack, anything taped. And this is actually going to create the form that's going to hold in the epoxy. And I don't want to lie too much about it. This stuff is sticky. So, I mean, we made a special turn down here. So really, you're just going to have to layer up. I work my angles in. So I'm actually right there. I've sealed the first seam between the two pieces of plywood there. Boom. Now we're gonna have to seal right here as well. Like I said, this tape is sticky.
You can use multiple layers of it.
You can use multiple layers. You can cut shorter pieces, just make big overlaps onto it. We've actually probably put 2 layers on everything, realistically. I am paranoid about leaks.
Me too.
So this stuff sticks ridiculous to the tape itself. So that's where I'm starting. I'm trying to get down onto my tape seam, put it in here. I made my angle. So I've actually covered the area here where it could possibly leak out. Now I'm going to be fighting with this again because it keeps rolling away.
Good luck.
I know. I tried to make a dispenser out of this stuff, but I'm having trouble. Now, I do think that there's a couple other methods. We decided to use the tape bath because Jay and I are most comfortable with tape. So we'll see if any of you have any comments of actually a better way to do this, but this is what I've seen to be done. So really, I'm coming around my corners. I'm getting my tape seamed.
I would think the more overlap, the better, as long as it's
The more overlap, the better. The more overlap, the better. So you actually see, I've got my corners done twice. I'm actually going to hit it again right here. Boom. Just work your tape around. One more piece and this side's done, Jay.
Yeah, it's time to start prepping for the
So
pour.
don't rush. I'm saying don't rush this because you really don't want it to leak. As you can see, I'm semi-paranoid about it leaking. So I might do 3-4 pieces of tape. There we go. All sealed. Now we had to use this, and especially with the way we made our drop down here. So what happens after we pour, we've already set this up underneath. This piece of plywood is actually going to stay, but you don't want to see it through your epoxy, so we made this drop down piece. All we do is going to pop out these screws when everything is dry, and we should be able to just roll this frame right off, leaving the epoxy edge. So I want to say that's how simple and easy it is. It really didn't take us, I thought it would take us a little bit longer, but
That's pretty quick.
I'm feeling pretty good about this, Jay. How about you?
I'm feeling pretty good, Dan. I think it's time to set this thing up and let's get pouring.
Let's size some blocks first. Let's get the blocks
yeah.
in before we get the epoxy going, Jay.
Oh, you want to just do deep pour?
We're going to go deep. So, guys, that's what we're going to do right now is we're actually going to size our pieces the way we want this to look. And just for good measures, I'm putting another piece.
That won't be the last piece.
It won't be the last piece, Jay. Okay, so how we dealt with our drop down to our blocks, leaving them at the same size, we actually wanted to put an edge band of oak molding, and we've actually stained it, so that's going to show through. And those pieces are going to fit directly right in here, which is going to give us our edge as the epoxy rolls down. The only thing I'm actually doing is putting a little bit of PL glue on here. So when it's solidified, just so it doesn't move around with the epoxy. You're not going to see it. It's on the bottom. So really, that's it. I'm going to drop that piece in. Once that glue dries, it's not going to stick to the tape, but it'll keep it from moving, let's say. So that's it. We're going to just glue these around. And then we're going to start sizing our blocks like we have. See, we made this nice 45 edge here, and it's part of our profile that we're working on. So these blocks are going to just sit right on the top of that, and we'll see them on the edge.
That looks nice.
Does look nice.
You can use anything too.
You
can
can.
use all kinds of wood.
Wondering, do we need to stain these, or should we leave them natural? We'll let you know. We'll decide as we go along. Okay, so we're actually sizing in all our pieces. And actually sometimes with epoxy, you're gonna need to hold down the wood. There's a possibility, I know these are heavy, but we're gonna take the extra precaution, but there's a possibility of this actually floating up. So really what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue, not a lot, but just a little bit of glue, so that when we put these pieces down, it'll actually grip. I think it keep it from rising. So I'm just putting my blocks in, shaping them where I want, hitting them on the glue. So when that dries, I'm hoping this doesn't lift them. That's what the hope is for, Jay.
We always have hope, Dan.
And it's not a lot of glue. you can see. Well, there we go. We're putting our pieces in. A little bit of glue. With the glue, I'm able to move it. I'm able to pull these around, set them where I want, almost like I'm tiling a floor. And you can see how paranoid I was. I put the tape over all of the screws as well. So as we have our next group sized here, I'm gonna just do the same thing. Give us a little bit of glue. Come on, baby glue. And this is just to stabilize my hold. That's it. I guess at the end, we'll see how that worked out. I saw a lot of guys putting weights on it, holding it down. Jay came up with this idea, and I actually really like it. So
let's hope it works.
Let's hope it works, Jay. I think these people believe your idea will work. So here, I'm just going to tile my pieces in. I'm not worried about the gaps. These aren't real tiles, you know, so we're a little bit unsquare. That's the beauty of this rustic. All of this is gonna fill. And as you can see, our frame, I'm 3/4 of an inch higher. We're really gonna pour this just a 1/4 inch above here. So our frame is actually gonna hold perfect for us. So it's, I guess, nothing more than a glue and stick operation. And this glue should stick pretty good to the plywood, and it should stick glue to the dry blocks.
Is it just PL glue? Is that what that is?
It is PL glue, just construction adhesive. Maybe I'm using the wrong thing. This is what we decided to use. Here we go. Tiling my wood. We're wood tiling today. So our pieces, we've offset our seams because that's how I want it. If you wanted yours to be straight and do something different, I'm looking for random, super random.
Random and rustic.
Random and rustic. That's what we do. Random and rustic. I'm gonna put a little extra glue on this one. There wasn't a lot there. Gun's running slow today. Here we go. That's the end. That's how I want mine to look.
That's really fast.
So it is fast, Jay. I was worried we weren't gonna get done today. Now I'm wondering what we're going to do for the rest of the day. Well,
I get time off?
No, Jay. Come on, man. I got stuff to do. So there you go. These things are set. We're going to just keep sizing, filling in exactly where I want to be, gluing them down as I go. Hopefully in a couple hours, this stuff will be set, and the epoxy is going to pour down, around, under, in. And I'm hoping this thing is solid.
It's gonna look very cool.
Looks cool.
Yeah. Wow.
It did come out amazing, Jay. Okay, we finished cutting all of our blocks into place. And we let it dry overnight with the glue to make sure. And honestly, I tried to rip one of these up, didn't come up. So I don't think we're gonna have a floating problem with any of our pieces. But look at this, guys. This stuff is beautiful. And one of the most beautiful parts about this stuff is that each one of these pieces has come from the beams of this house. Somewhere in this house, I don't exactly know where, but a beam was used, we reclaimed it, we've saved it, and now it's going to make a beautiful, beautiful countertop. I mean, look at this stuff over here, Jay. Show them this before we put the epoxy on it, because I'm going to tell you guys, this stuff is going to pop. But we cut trees in half. I think that looks really, really cool. And also, if you wanted to, we left ours, it's, let's go back where they can see a little better. Here. Not every piece is exactly the right. And our thinking is that we're actually going to get kind of a three-dimensional look for these blocks that are going to make it rustic to follow this house. But if you really did want everything smooth, you can actually sand this in place. Make this thing as smooth as you want. We're gonna pour a deep pour right now. First time ever for two timber framers. We're gonna show you how a timber frame island should be in a timber frame with beams. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I'm nervous-sided.
I'm a nervous-sided Jay. I think we're going to be on leak patrol, but we'll check that out. But like, honestly, when we pour this, you're going to see, boom, this is going to pop. The color is going to just come right out of this. It's going to look awesome. So we're going to pour a deep pour first, then we're going to peel everything off, cut our edges, and then we're actually going to put a gloss coat, a flood coat over the top. You'll see how this works out. It's going to be awesome, Jay.
Want to talk about it? How much extra we have left over now?
That? Look at that. That's our extra. Thank God we didn't have to go back to the mill and actually make more blocks. But as always, we're going to save these little pieces. I promise you, we'll find something to do with them. Sorry, Jay. Go store those.
That's right.
Let's get sticky, my friend, and let's pour some epoxy.
Beautiful.
Love it. Here we go. Here we go. I did my best not to introduce bubbles, but there's bubbles in there.
Bubbles in there.
Let's see what happens.
Slow setting. So
72 hours is pretty slow for us, Jay.
it is pretty slow. What are we gonna do?
Let's get sticky.
Here we go.
Oh.
Here goes nothing. Here goes something.
Here goes something.
Oh, I like it already.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I almost got a little crazy there, Jay.
It's all right.
Got half of
We got
it running.
72 hours for it to set, so.
God, I don't even know if I need to. I was afraid to get it to the edge. I hope we have enough, Jay. I only got 3 more batches.
Well, we'll start on this side of the island and see what happens.
Pretty good idea, Jay.
I think we're gonna be okay.
I think we're gonna be okay.
Boy, look at that. Talk about color pop right off the
Color
bat.
pop,
Boom.
my friend.
And that's clear. So clear brings out that, still brings out the amber of the wood. Look at
You're
that.
sealing it basically like with polyurethane. I think it needs a little more.
Give it some more, Dan.
I think it needs some more.
Okay, this
You
is
know,
fun.
I let it go.
This is fun. Here it goes.
What could go wrong? Checking for leaks. I'm trying to get my edges filled, making sure everything is going down. I mean, it's going to have to because we're filling this thing a 1/4 inch higher. It's very fun to spread around, Jay.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to watch it go down into the edges here and stuff too.
All I know is we are going to be whipping a lot more of this stuff together.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we are going to need. How much more is in the bucket?
You know, I put some down.
Because we're looking for a 1/4 inch on the surface, right?
When are you? Yeah. Well, we're probably that there. We got some holes to fill.
Yes, we
And it's eking its way underneath. It's getting into the ply. It's not dripping. Hang on.
Nah, come on now. That's not funny. We
It
want no
isn't-
drips.
It isn't funny,
We
Jay.
want no drips.
No drip. You see the air bubbling out of it.
Yeah, right away.
I'm gonna let that go a little bit more. I used about half of it, Jason.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better news then.
Better than all of it. Ooh, I like that.
It's like honey.
It is like honey.
Wood honey.
Holy smokes, I didn't know I didn't need you today, Jay.
All right.
On the way out. There we go. Mold our sink.
That looks kind of fun, Dan.
It's fun. If you weren't the cameraman, you'd be getting to do this.
Now let's take it. Let's see.
Gosh dang, that's beautiful already. We didn't even put the polish on it. That's it, guys. We're going to just keep spreading, filling and spreading, and I'm going to make sure that we have enough all the way around. Bubbles on the outside. I see no floaters, Jay.
No floaters, man. No floaters. Yeah, that's another thing too. Make sure you're dusting everything and cleaning everything multiple times. You don't want anything loose that can come to the surface.
You know, you're totally not wrong. Honestly, guys, last night I turned the heat up into this place 70 degrees. Epoxy likes warm weather, works best at 70 degrees. So I wanted to get everything at 70 degrees. Jason and I have been cleaning, and dusting.
And then again.
And then again. We didn't really want to show you the cleaning part.
It was so
Two
sad.
guys cleaning service isn't as good. I'm kidding. All right, guys, this is actually fun. I've been nervous, not sleeping, and this is fun.
It activates to get those bubbles out really quickly. Huh? It's
They're
really
just
pulling that
popping.
stuff up.
They're just popping.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have darn close over here. What we might have a, I'm not gonna say anything, Jay. We might have enough stuff.
Let's wait. I mean, I see it still creeping. It's actually gotten.
It's gotta be creeping
nice.
underneath, you know.
Yeah. Look how nice this looks. See where there's the gap. I like that.
See, I do like
I
that
love
too.
that
You
flooding.
see
Looks good.
it's clear. Hey, can I? I'm gonna.
pour some more?
You want to play?
Let's play.
Let's play. How do we get it in here? Here we go. Let me dump you a batch. We might be just going to make a batch.
Yeah, we got some thickness back here. We got to get to for sure.
Just the eye of the frame.
What's that?
Yes, I got you. We got thickness.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, we'll be right on the money like always, Jason.
You're usually really good at calculating stuff. I'm glad you're in charge of math stuff because we would be in trouble if it were me.
Can I say? Did it say anything about just mixing? We could mix right in this one again, right?
Yeah, because we got 72 hours of setting. We're not going to have anything residual enough to affect, you know.
Why don't you go get a set up?
Okay.
Because we're definitely going to need at least one more.
Yep.
Thank you,
Just
pal.
for this guy, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, my friend. Oh, yeah. Erasing them. Almost like the magic eraser, buddy.
Is it working?
Oh, God.
I hope you can heat this stuff.
Huh?
I hope you can heat it without changing the chemistry.
I'm just breezing, bro. Styling some hair. It's bubbling on its own because it's seeping into the wood.
Gotcha.
You can see it. Took them right out, man.
Nice.
I know we have enough. Like that one bucket would totally do that.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Although we still have quite a
All
ways
right, I
to go.
won't go to the end, but I am almost thinking we need more here.
Yeah, it's not really even
No,
above the.
it's sinking in.
It's sinking in, yeah.
Let's get crazy. Let's get crazy,
Let's
Jay.
get crazy.
You can feel it if you glide right over it. It's just. I'm so excited. 9. That's a third of what we just made. And if we have any extra, we'll go a little thicker, Jet. Oh, I got a black floater. Shit.
You got what?
A floater.
All right. Well, what could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong, Jay? Yup, as I feared. Leaked. We've got a leak right there. Okay? I also have one leak right there with the clamp. We're trying to stop it right now. And over here, believe it or not, I had one floater. Thank God it was on the end. We were able to put a little clamp in here. But with the leak going on, we're actually going to stop pouring right now. We're going to let this solidify. tomorrow morning, while this isn't cured, we're gonna put a whole nother layer on it, and hopefully the holes got cleared up. So before we leave here, or as we're going, you see you got air bubbles, and that's just the stuff actually settling in, getting out. If you want to just get these out quick, it's like a magic eraser. Boom. So we're going to try to keep the air bubbles out. You see how clear this is. So now the epoxy soaking into the grains of the wood, all into the holes, underneath, and yeah, out our holes. So hopefully it doesn't leak too much and it solidifies. And we'll get another coat on it tomorrow. We didn't hurt anything. Lucky enough, we saved the batch. So
It's gonna look beautiful though, Dan.
sometimes you got to step two steps back to get one step forward, but this baby's gonna be beautiful. Look how clear, look at that. I don't know what, look at that. It's beautiful.
All right.
We'll see you tomorrow
On a dripless day.
on a dripless day.
Boy, some of it is just gorgeous. Man, look at that glossiness though.
Look at the gloss. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Yeah. What we found out, guys, is that just the taping is not sufficient enough for the leaks, because Jay and I honestly spent more time cleaning up drips, chasing epoxy holes, patching things. So what we definitely learned is, and we learned after the fact, that night we went home, we're all watching YouTube. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? And we probably should have. And what sounded like the best idea was, after your tape job, is to mix yourself up a small amount of epoxy, paint it over everything that you have. So if there is any holes there, it'll get sealed before you put your seal coat on. Now, the one thing that we tried, and I never saw anything on this, is we didn't have any floaters. So our glue holding our stuff down actually helped us out. I'm not gonna lie, we had one floater over here. And I was able to, at the end, just put in a small board. We're gonna pull this off. And right now we're gonna be putting the second coat of thick on top of this. So I'm not worried about that little hole. But I can tell you this, we learned the lesson. This is not the last time we're gonna do this. And honestly, it probably would have shaved half the time off of it if we weren't cleaning up such a mess. But this thing's rock solid, and we're ready to get going to the next step. I'm gonna try to put a positive spin on what happened with the leaks, but this wouldn't have happened unless there was leaks. My sink base cabinet. Look, I've got a beautiful, beautiful polyurethane bottom. Never gonna have a problem, because I'm sure my sink might leak too.
It looks, you're never gonna know if there's a leak because it looks wet already.
It does, Jay. My wife's gonna love me.
I don't think that's how it's gonna work.
It's gonna work.
It's really glossy. I can see you in the reflection.
You can see me in the
can.
reflection,
It's like a
Jay.
mirror.
Okay, we're on our second step here. And maybe something else we might have learned when we did the pour. And they're always saying patience, patience, patience. And I'm like, Jay, fill that thing up and let's get this thing done. It was so beautiful. I probably would have just poured the initial seal coat maybe an inch. Let it get in all through the blocks. Kind of like how we did over here on the small island. And that's really because with the leaks going on, I did not want to go any further than this. So I'm thinking that the best set of, for the next time that we do this, we're gonna pour one lower layer, and then we're gonna pour our top coat. And hopefully that'll prevent on some massive leaks. But you wanna fix this? This is not a problem, because you're able to put multiple coats on this. We are just gonna now take our palm sanders and go over all of this. Just get the bubbles that are out into the wood. Smooth this out. This glossy stuff here, it's actually gonna give it a place for it to grip. So when we put our next clear coat on, it's gonna stick. Now I do know that right after we do all the sanding, we're gonna have to wipe everything down with alcohol, which is gonna help adhere it. But doing these deep pours in multiple sections, probably a better idea. We're doing it in 2 anyway, so would have been better if I poured it a little bit less.
Did you say alcohol, like vodka?
No, we're in Tennessee, Jay. Whiskey, my
Whiskey.
friend. Whiskey, come on.
All right, or maybe not.
Alcohol from the store.
There you go.
All of a sudden, I don't know if I should point out anything. The last tape I showed you to use failed.
Well, let's see how the isopropyl goes.
Let's see how the isopropyl goes.
I'm excited. Let's get after this.
Let's get after it, Jay.
I think this is all the sanding pads either, Dan.
Those are the only ones I can find after the garbage man came back. But yesterday, Jason and I spent, the majority of the day sanding down our wood to get ready for the next coat. And we might have went a little crazy, but that's just how we are. And honestly, I think this is going to come out beautifully. All the bubbles that we had on top or everything there is sanded out. And yeah, we used quite a few different sanding pads. So we didn't want to bore you with the 4 hours of Jay and I, you know, but honestly, after all these pads that we found, these little Diablo nets seem to work best on epoxy. Even though this is our first job, I'm going to call us pro sanders. Now over on this side, we did find one air bubble that we're doing an experiment because we watched a lot of YouTube videos. We popped it, so hopefully it'll fill in and we won't see it. But there'll be an experiment piece of how that's actually going to work out. Now we've sanded everything down to 320 grit. We have dusted this house, vacuumed this house, cleaned this house, cleaned this thing more than, I don't even want to say how much more we've cleaned it then. So we are right now at the point where we are going to pour another gloss coat. And hopefully the first coat sealed all the leaks we had. But we're doing this first thing in the morning just in case we have to stay here all day. And Jay, check this out. After we sanded it, we got another beautiful artistry piece. Who's gonna get the grain line to match up like this? When I first saw that this morning, I'm like, what did we do? And I looked at it, it's perfect.
I did that intentionally, didn't I?
Jay, not saying anything, beautiful job. He just went out on a whim. So we get lucky not only in our timber frames, but on our epoxy counter. Classic artistry work. Now let's see if we can actually pour this right with no leaks, Jay.
Ooh, no leaks, please.
I'm a little nervous-sided again, to be honest with you. I got a lot of extra sleep. 4 espressos this morning, we're gonna do it.
We're ready to go.
I'm ready to polyurethane the bottom of those cabinets too again, just in case we have some leaks.
It's a little thick down there.
You
A
see?
little glossy. A little glossy
She's
down
losing
there.
cabinet space, but that baby is waterproof. And yes, I know, Jay bought his own little hooch potion the other day. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is, but I held this bottle up after watching so many YouTube videos of what could go wrong with an epoxy counter. I heard you have to have this. So I went to the store and we got it, and we're gonna use the right product, or at least the product some other guys were telling us to use. We can use this for all our wounds later on, Jay. We got plenty of
I
it.
got plenty of wounds coming.
Okay, guys, the purpose of the alcohol is, this is clean, blown. We have no dust in any of this. And actually, you're using this to clean it. But look at how, this is what it's gonna turn into real quick because it fades, but that's what this is gonna look like when we actually put the gloss.
Because you see this and it looks like, oh no, that's going to be bad, but it's not sticking around.
Oh no. Okay, use the real denatured alcohol. It'll actually, it's prepping your surface to receive the next layer. So we're gonna clean it up. We're gonna mix it up and let it roll. Or let it flow. Let's call it let it flow.
I like
Flow
it.
level and
Let
stay
it
high,
flow.
my friends.
Let it flow. Yeah, it's going to look good.
That-
Let's see what Dr. Dan's up to over here. What do you got going, Dan?
So, like an idiot, I decided I found another small air bubble down there. And I saw this trick on YouTube. I hope it works. But I'm going to drill down into the pocket, clean it out, and hopefully the resin fills in there without seeing. But on his video, it came out pretty good, and I've already made up my mind. This is what we're going to do. So.
Gentle suction.
All right, I'm not into the bubble yet.
That one was down there.
My eyes are crossed, Jay. I'm nervalicious again. Well, what do you think?
Go for it.
Can you see from the side? I
Yep,
think we
right
got it. We're in there, right?
All right. Looks like it. Crossing fingers.
I'll come up with something to hide that if it doesn't work.
We'll just put a pot holder on top of it.
All right, so 2 holes right there. We'll see how it turns out. I'm going to be the guinea pig.
All right, here we go.
Let's let it flow, Jay.
Let it flow.
Hey, we showed you that because we did our best to whip it without any bubbles in it. But we are going to let some flow right now. Ooh. It's going to take some, Jay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. That's 3 gallons of it in there.
It's 3 gallons. God, I hope it's enough.
I don't know.
I went a little aggressive on that one, Jay. Let me get to moving some around. As usual, we go a little aggressive first, and then we ease up when we figure that out.
The good news is you can move it around. So
It is. Oh, it's flowing nicely, Jason.
all right.
Look at that bad boy, though.
Yeah.
The color. Yep. Where's all that white you were talking about?
It's gone now, forever.
Gone now. This baby's flowing.
Yeah, good.
It is some nice, good leveling stuff, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to come your way.
Okay, come on over here.
Let's come your way.
And it obviously seems like the slower you pour it, the less bubbles you introduce
I
too.
know,
But it's hard
and
when you're
I'm-
dealing with the
I'm
heavy
not-
stuff.
Not sure I'm a really good pourer, Jay.
Well, we'll get to practicing. This is our
It's
first
getting
time.
lighter. It's getting lighter.
first
I guess
time.
first time experiment on a little cutting board.
Just a little tiny cutting board.
You know, this is 2-guy style. I mean,
Yeah, why didn't we start with like at least an end table or something? I don't know.
isn't this an end table? This is going to be my wife's cutting board.
Yeah,
Oh, you can see it
oh
flowing.
wow, yeah.
Hope I'm doing this right. It's even moving everywhere.
I just hope that all our leaky spots are all filled up now.
I hope the
Very
leaky-
good, too.
Buddy.
I
You
know.
had to bring that up
I
now.
know. Well, we gotta be on truth. Gotta be truthful about it.
Again, another sleepless night, Jason.
It's filling in nicely over here. Here
It
comes.
is
It's working
filling
itself.
in
Oh, it's working
nicely.
itself in really good there. Okay.
It is filling.
Oh, look at that though. Wow.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Please stay this way.
Liquid glass.
Liquid glass. I don't know if we're gonna have enough to give that one a flood coat over there, Jason.
Uh-oh.
He might be his own little project. Hopefully by then we figured out all the issues we've had. This was the big leak spot.
Yep. That one created a lot of hassle.
Please be friendly.
Please be friendly.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, looking good.
Bubble free zone, Jay. Bubble free zone. All that sanding, I think, is working, my friend. Or it looks so far.
And like we talked about, I mean, patience is a big part of this, like everybody says, and that's
big part of
That's a
not
big part.
not happening here.
Yeah.
We're a little light on the patience department.
Yeah, well, we got a lot to do.
Whew. Careful, careful.
See how that bubble comes out.
The bubble. He's probably still got an air bubble in there, but we might still have a bubble, Jay. Hopefully let it work its thing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I bet if we hit it with the heat gun, we'll get a little bit of movement in there.
We're gonna get something.
Yeah. Okay, looking good. Looking very good.
We got a 1/2 inch of stuff going over this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually thicker going down into the holes inside these blocks.
Yeah.
I think it'll give it some grip, Jay.
I think so.
This one might dry a little quicker. Probably not.
Well, I think running the fans will help too, so.
I'm gonna try the fans, Jay. It did help. And just let it flow. It does its thing.
Yeah, I see it even over here. It's moving just a little bit to level itself. You can see some of the little surface bubbles that are going away, and it's leveling itself out.
I think we're gonna have just enough
For this side, right? Or
for this side. Oh, no, yeah, I already gave up on the other side, Jay.
well, that'll be Thursday.
I made a couple bubbles there too. Okay.
They'll come out.
There they go.
It's good and thick there too. So.
We are good and thick.
All right.
Gotta tell you, the hole is looking good. I can't find it, Jason.
Ah, good. See? Might have been a really good tip. I'm gonna come around and take a look.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on. We hit that with the heat gun. You can barely even tell it's there. It's gonna disappear.
Yep.
Yep.
There's a little bubble in it that's coming out.
Yep.
So there's really no bubbles here right now because we're taking this, we're just making it flow a little.
You're keeping a good distance, right?
We're
Not
keeping
too
a good
close.
distance here.
Yeah. I think that's a mistake.
Keeping a good distance, right? We
Yeah.
saw that in the video, guy burning it.
Yeah.
And I'm just sweeping, and you can actually see.
Well, there's a couple right here. Let's see what happens when you hit them from afar. Boom. That's all you need.
It's like a magic eraser. It's also going to help
Right
a little
here.
quicken the flow.
Yeah, boom. Just takes them right
Boom.
out.
I'm going around the edges too. They're microscopic. Thank God. The first time it was like a scuba tank.
It was. It's all working out though. It's gonna be
So,
worth
like mother hens, yeah, we're gonna be nursing this all day long. We're gonna try not to overwork it, but we are going to try to keep this as bubble-free as humanly possible. I also heard in some of the videos that these end grain tiles, like we're doing, and it makes sense. There's a lot more air trapped into them with the open grain, so caused us a little bubble issue, but I think in the end it's gonna be beautiful, Jay.
it. It's gonna be worth it, Dan. Totally worth it.
I don't know about worth it, but it's gonna be beautiful.
May not be worth it.
It's gonna be worth it.
Look at
Someday
that.
we'll forget about all that sanding.
Epoxy Project 1. Go big or
Epoxy.
go home.
Go big or go home.
Look at that reflection, Dan. We got double Dan.
Double Dan. My
trouble.
God, double Dan's. That's a curse.
Somebody save me.
Okay, we have actually had our patience tested, but it has been more than 72 hours since we poured this final coat. And there's one thing that I want to tell you that we learned along the way, because this is a learning process for us, and we're just checking it out. Jay and I were over this thing like mother hens. That bubble come up, we'd pop it with the heat gun, pop it with the heat gun, and we spent hours on it. Now, you come over here. I said, Jay, I don't have that kind of time to look at this little one. So we actually just poured this late at night, and we went to bed. We said, we're not gonna hover over. We're gonna see what it turned out. It is perfect. There's no bubbles. We did nothing. So as far as us, we're doing night pours all the time so that we're not even awake to even think about blowing a bubble.
What do we let it sit, like 10 hours or something?
It was almost 12 hours, Jay, for this. But this is actually the deep pour, so it takes a long time. It was still, I don't want to say tacky. It was starting to set at the 12 hours. We breezed over it with a heat gun, took out the 6 bubbles that were there. Now, I know we need to sand it, and we're going to put another coat on. But here today, I'm going to start pulling the frames of this thing. We're going to sand it. We're going to put a custom edge along the side of this, and then we're going to pour the flood coat. Now, I don't know if we're going to be doing 1 flood coat or 2. Depends how it comes out. But it's happening today.
We still have a couple little ridges we got to work on, but that I think the flood coat's going to
Very little, very little. We're going to be going 1/4 inch with our flood coat. Hopefully it doesn't flood everything in the house.
They call it a
But
flood coat.
I'm thinking at this point, this thing should be laser level, Jay, laser level. So I'm going to get to start taking apart the frame, and we'll show you when we crack the first half off what it looks like before we actually put the finish on.
I'm not really minding epoxy days, Dan. It was a little scary start.
I love epoxy. It was 23 degrees this morning. Who doesn't want to work inside?
It's warm in
So
here.
that's what we do. We try to save our outside work. When it's nice, we have so much inside work. It's perfect. No days off. Sorry, Jay.
I'm used to it. Peeling time.
Peeling time. Okay, we are actually pulling the frame off that we held to make our bath here. And this stuff is stout. This stuff is stout. I mean, the biggest mistake that we made with our leaks was all the glue actually molded everything together, so it was a little bit harder. But really, with the tape, it came out perfect. So all I'm doing is I'm just loosening top of the board off of the frame so that it's not. And honestly, we're gonna just peel this back, Jay.
We've been using kind of combination screwdrivers.
Yeah, and we're trying to pry off our wood frame, not to. I made the frame a little stout because I was afraid it would blow out, but this thing is.
It's like the tape grips more than anything.
The tape. I know. It didn't seal the leaks, but this tape did. Here we go. Come over here, Jay.
Okay, let's see. You got it? Oh, you got it all the way down.
It's all the way.
Oh, gosh, we got to get that tape out of there. Come
Look.
on, tape. Oh, there
I'll
it is.
hold it back for you.
Peekaboo.
There's
Woo,
the
man.
first edge. I actually thought we'd have to do a lot more sanding here, but this came out gloss.
See if we can see
And
the
you
trim
see-
that you did.
I'm trying to do the trim here. Maybe we go around, but you can see that piece of trim we put in the bottom. Look around. How it perfectly finished this. I'm so happy where we're at right now. So we're gonna just finish peeling the last of the frame. We're gonna put a slight 320 grit sand on this thing. Put a custom edge on it. Run it one more time.
Wow. That is something, Dan.
You'll see here, I'm gonna pull this bottom frame, how I told you before. I need to just roll this stuff off here. This is what got glued with the leaks that we had, so I have to work at it a little bit.
Let's show a close-up of the
Let's
trim
go over
there.
here
Let's see,
because
yeah.
that's how you get a finished edge. You still have your plywood overhang. It's all covered in. You can't see a thing. Almost like you were doing a piece of granite. This is much nicer than granite, Jay.
Oh, yes, Dan. This is going to be so fun.
We're gonna smooth it out, and we're going to get sticky one more time. Maybe 2, but at least 1.
All right.
I love it.
Love it.
This is fun, Jay.
I like this stuff, don't you? That's the kind of sanding I think you don't mind.
I don't mind this. This is carving my hand right where I want to make my cut.
How's it working?
It's working really good. It's right there. So tight.
check it out.
Let's check it out.
Oh, man.
Okay, so we've actually got our edge all sanded out. And this is what it's gonna look like. It's actually gonna be more glossy than when we're done. And what we did is we sanded everything off. Look, has a perfect rounded edge going across here. And Jay actually talked me into leaving this because originally I was going to cut a beveled edge on here. And if you did want to do that or do a different edge in the round, nothing more than just running your router, cutting your edge. But I'm actually super excited the way this looks. It's actually going to look a lot thicker in this direction right here. And I'm super, super happy with it. So that's what we're going to do.
I suggested something good.
Jay, you've been suggesting something good throughout this whole project.
Oh, that's nice, Dan.
It is nice. I know that you've been waiting to do this. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to clean everything off with the proper alcohol, okay? I've been taking a lot of advice through YouTube. Every documentation on this stuff I read, it changes. But this product said, hey, isopropyl alcohol. That's what we're going to use. So that's the hooch of the day.
It's good and affordable, too.
It was important, and it's good for wounds, Jason.
Right, exactly. We get lots of those. Hey,
So
let's talk a little bit about the workability of this stuff. And I think what scared me was that pouring it, re-pouring it, sanding it was going to be tough, and then even sculpting it and stuff like. And it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Actually, I mean, we're used to dealing with oak, so it sculpts a little hard. This was beautiful to work with. It was hard enough, soft enough to easily sand. Believe it or not, we actually did this portion of the job very quickly. All the other portions was more of a learning process, so it took us a little bit longer.
I very much like it. And let's talk about, I don't know if we can see it, but we'll talk about when if you don't lay the tape out just right.
Correct. Like we made such a difficult end the way we wanted to pour over our thing. So that getting the tape super flat was kind of hard. So we did a bunch of extra sanding, left a couple of little dimples here, hoping that the top coat was actually going to fill all that in.
We're going to get it.
We're going to get it. Even if we have to sand it and do it again, Jay, we're going to get it.
I just said it was easy to work with, so I deserve that one. All right, looks good.
The good part about this stuff is you could just keep adding layers if it doesn't come out perfect. You can sand and redo it because we've already done this a few times already now.
I'm not scared anymore, Dan.
No. I think after this job here, Jay, we're going to have close to 10 pours. That's almost getting professional now.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's see if we can make this thing look like something when we're done, pal.
Let's talk about fixing.
Talk about fixing. After hours and hours and hours of hearing Jason complain about these couple of boards here, under extreme protest last night, I busted out my belt sander and we polished this thing off diamond smooth. And what we did is we actually put a very thin coat of the epoxy over it to seal it. So now we can do our final pour. I waited a day, but thank God Jay's very persistent about nagging me.
It's worth
But
it, Dan.
this is gonna be perfect. We're not got to worry about anything anymore.
Yeah, it's nice and level now. And we also, that was the top coat, right? That was the top.
It
fast
was
part
a
that we
top
put on
coat.
there.
I didn't do a thick coat. I took a very small portion of the top coat just so that we could seal that. You can see there's very minor bubbles in there. So we're able to sand that out. Our next coat should flood right over the top.
I know that was a little bit interesting because it's a different consistency. It looks different, so it's like
It was thick.
How's it going to come out? And it,
It was
came
thick.
out great.
Since this is only our first time, yeah, this stuff was a lot thicker. So
Cool.
we're gonna get after it right now and put the final on.
No more sanding.
No more sanding, Jay.
Tick tock, Dan.
Tick tock, tick tock. We're mixed up. This stuff is thick. Yeah, I traveled 20 miles to get a plastic trowel. This is the only thing I can find. So I taped myself up one of my metal ones. That's what I'm gonna use. But I'm not exactly sure. Let's just pour some out in the middle and see how this spreads out, Jay.
This is way different looking stuff,
It is. It's not clear.
which was kind of scary last night. I'm like, wait a second.
I know, but it dried clear.
Yep. This is
Before I
actually
get too crazy, boom, boom, boom. Just hang that over there. Let's just see how far this stuff goes, Jay.
It's very thick, isn't it? Let's
It
see.
is thick.
Good. I mean, it's got to be.
Okay, we need a lot more.
Okay.
I got a pretty good sized trowel going on here.
It was pretty smart to put the tape over there, Dan. I
It
like
actually works pretty good.
that. I like that. Can't believe that the hardware store didn't have
I
plastic
know.
trowel.
I don't want to badmouth my
No.
hardware store. My hardware store is nothing, and I got to travel all over the place to get there.
We're not bad mouthing anybody.
No. Okay. Got you. Got how this is going to work. Of course, I'm Jay.
Right there, you can. That's funny because now there you go. All already
Laying out.
clear. Yeah, the clear is coming through.
Sometimes you know me, Jay. Got my drips ready for there because we know this is going to drip.
Yeah, we put skirting down everywhere. You know, actually roofing material. I'll
Yeah.
grab some of this because once we start going over the edge, it's going to get kind of interesting.
It's going to get in. Oh, it's already going.
It's already
over there.
going. It's already getting interesting.
Oh, it's more me.
Well, it's almost going to be the moment of truth here once this starts to go. Let's see. Not yet.
Here we go, Jay.
There it goes.
Probably made a mistake with that right away.
Got some drips on the floor. Watch your feet.
All right. Let me spread out what I got. Hate to say, being a trowel guy, I like the flat side better, but
Yeah.
it might not be as thick.
You can see it get a little goopy. You really got to work this stuff faster. That's for sure.
You do. You're a little bit over on the edge over here, Jay. Yeah, we're definitely covered.
Okay, well, now you can see how it's going to look, though. I mean, it's going to be fantastic, if I may say so myself.
Thinking that's looking pretty even, Jay. Don't
It's
you?
looking pretty even. Got a little bit going over the edges here, so I'll have to control.
I'm
the
gonna let
edges
it
at some
go.
point, Yeah.
But, well, we're
This
already-
has what? It's the working time on this is
Couple hours.
Couple hours, and I bet it starts to get pretty.
Well, we'll give you the real working hours.
Yeah, once we get down to it. All right,
I'm gonna keep spreading, Jay.
keep on going. Oh man.
Man, oh man. Guys, is this beautiful or what? To be honest with you, we only put one coat of that gloss onto it and it leveled itself out perfect. This was actually the easiest part of this whole entire job. But you can see, you know, we've never done this, and we watched a lot of YouTube channels, and we tried to get a lot of advice from a lot of people, not all good, but some very good. And then one of the most things would be to be patient with this stuff. Walk away, don't baby it. But I wanted to thank all of the YouTube channels that we went through, whether their advice was good or bad, that helped us through this. And quite honestly, my friend George Middlefield from Middlefield Custom Sawmill babied us through the whole way. So I totally appreciate his expertise, and he's been a good friend.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, George. So, guys, you can see, scrap wood. We never did this. You could give it a shot. I mean, after we actually built this giant table, I thought it would be a good idea to try out if we could make a little cutting board. So I made a little cutting board for my wife with those last 6 pieces of scrap that we had, because we don't like to waste anything.
You know, we could have started with a cutting board, Dan.
Jay, you know us. We found out all the mistakes here. We wouldn't have known that with this little cutting board
very
thing.
nice
But I
cutting
think it's beautiful. I think I'm going to hang it right here.
There
Boom.
you go.
Because my wife wants to get on top of this with a hatchet. So I told her to use that.
Awesome.
So guys, thanks for watching. And hopefully all our mistakes helped all you guys out. But try it. Try it. Fun and easy.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Thanks, everybody.
Be very afraid, Jay.
I was just trying to be positive, Dan.